Hello and welcome. You have found your way to the boring hour. You can let go now. Let the weight of the day, the conversations, the worries, let them all gently unspool. They have no place here. There is only the present moment and the quiet journey we are about to take together. Tonight, we are not meeting interesting characters or witnessing dramatic events. We are simply going to be. We are going to visit a field, a quiet, forgotten field, and in the center of this field, we are going to observe an old oak tree. Our journey will last for one full rotation of the earth, 24 hours, condensed into a single, peaceful observation. Close your eyes if you feel you are ready, and let your mind travel with me to a place of deep, uninterrupted quiet. The time is 2 hours past midnight, the hour when the world holds its breath. There is no moon in the sky tonight, a thick velvet blanket that covers everything. You cannot distinguish the grass from the soil. There is only a vast, soft, encompassing darkness. And in the center of it all, it is not visible as a tree right now. It is merely a shape, a slightly deeper patch of black against the star-dusted charcoal of the night sky, a silhouette of immense stillness. It has stood in this very spot for over 200 years. It has witnessed thousands of nights just like this one. For the tree, this darkness is not empty. It is familiar. It is peaceful. Let us move closer. Our feet make no sound on the soft, damp earth. The air is cold, not a harsh, biting cold, but a deep, settled chill. It is the kind of cold that sinks into the ground, into the bark of the tree. If you were to place your hand on its trunk, it is a cold that speaks of patience, of enduring. The bark of the tree is a universe of texture, even in the dark. It is a landscape of deep furrows and hard ridges. Imagine tracing one of these furrows with your finger. It runs from the ground upwards, a deep channel carved by decades of growth, of expansion, of exposure to sun and rain and wind and ice. The ridges on either side are hard, like old leather. They are home to microscopic life. Tiny spores of moss and lichen are dormant now, waiting for the return of light and moisture. They are sleeping just as the world around them sleeps. There is no wind, not even the slightest breeze to stir the leaves. The silence is almost absolute. But if you listen, if you truly attune your senses to the quiet, you can begin to perceive the sounds within the silence. There is a faint, almost imperceptible hum. It is not a sound you hear with your ears, but one you feel in your bones. It is the sound of the earth itself, the low-frequency vibration of a resting planet. And then another sound, from a great distance, so far away that it is more a memory of a sound than the sound itself. An owl calls out, a single, solitary hoo. The sound travels across the sleeping fields, thinned by the distance, and by the time it reaches our oak tree, it is just a faint disturbance in the air, a tiny ripple in the vast ocean of silence. And then it is gone. The silence that follows feels even deeper. Now, let us turn our attention to the leaves. There are thousands of them forming the great, dark canopy of the tree. In the darkness, They are just shapeless forms, but they are not idle. A process is occurring. The air, cool and carrying a hint of moisture, touches the surface of each leaf, and as the leaf's surface temperature drops just slightly below the dew point of the air around it, the water vapor in the air makes a choice. It ceases. Watch one single drop of dew being born on the pointed tip of a single oak leaf. A few stray molecules of water vapor condense, clinging to the surface. They are invisible, but they are a start. More molecules, carried on the imperceptible currents of the air, arrive and join them. It grows, molecule by molecule, in utter silence. There is no rush, there is no effort. It is simply the result of temperature and humidity and time. The cluster becomes a tiny bead of water, still too small for the human eye to see, a perfect, clear hemisphere of liquid all over the tree. The tree is clothing itself in jewels of water, preparing for the morning light it knows will eventually come. Let us return to the trunk. Think of the history held within it. This tree was a sapling when the world was a different place. It felt the vibrations in the ground from horses and carriages. Its leaves have been rustled by the winds of 200 summers. Its branches have borne the weight of 200 winter snows. All of this history is imprinted in its very being, in the silent rings of its core, in the weathered texture of its skin. It holds this time within itself, not as a memory, but as a state of being. It does not remember the past. It is the past, and it is the present, and it is the future, waiting patiently for the sun. Look up through the dense lattice of branches and twigs. The canopy is so thick, but there are gaps, small windows that open up into the cosmos. Through one of these gaps, you can see a constellation. Perhaps it is Orion. The stars are not twinkling. The air is so still and clear that they shine with a steady, unwavering light. They are unimaginably. Their light has traveled for years, for centuries, for millennia, only to end its journey here, passing through a small gap in the leaves of an old oak tree in a quiet field, to be witnessed by our quiet observation. The tree is an observatory. Its branches frame the heavens. The cold continues its work. The dewdrops on the leaves are growing larger now. Some have become so heavy that they are beginning to tremble on the edge of the leaf. They catch the faint, ambient starlight, a tiny, almost invisible glint in the darkness. One drop at the very tip of a low-hanging leaf finally succumbs to gravity. It detaches from the leaf and falls. The journey is short. It falls silently through the air for a foot or two, a perfect, tiny sphere of water, and lands on a blade of grass below. It makes no sound. A quiet transfer of moisture. A tiny event in the great, sleeping world, and the process begins again. On the tip of the leaf it just left. Everything is slow. Everything is patient. The tree does not wish for the sun to rise. It does not resent the cold of the night. It simply exists within it, in a state of profound acceptance. It is a masterclass in being still. Its roots, deep in the earth, are drawing infinitesimal amounts of water from the sleeping soil. Its great wooden heart is beating. We will stay here. There is only the feeling of the cool air on your skin, the immense patient presence of the oak and the slow rhythmic cadence of your own breathing in and out, the night continues, deep and dark and peaceful. The scene remains in complete silence for a long moment, perhaps 30 seconds, to allow the listener to settle even deeper. The narration resumes, maintaining the same slow, quiet whisper for a long time. The deep, profound stillness of 2 o'clock in the morning stretches into 3. The constellations continue their silent, imperceptible crawl across the vast, dark expanse. The tree remains a stoic silhouette, bathed in the faint, ancient light of distant stars. The dew continues its patient work, each leaf gathering its own small collection of moisture. The world is locked in a state of deep, dreamless slumber. There is no indication that this night, but it will. Change is the only constant, even in this place of immense stillness. And the first sign of this change is not something you can see. Around the time that the clock might strike 4, or perhaps a quarter past, if you were to look to the eastern horizon, you would notice a lack of uniformity in the darkness. It is not light, not yet. It is simply a subtle thinning, a place where the black of the sky seems less absolute. It is as if a single drop of deep indigo ink has been placed into the vast black ocean of the night. This subtle shift is imperceptible at first, then 5, then 10. The change is so gradual, so painstakingly slow, that the human eye, accustomed to instant shifts, would likely miss it entirely. But it is happening. The deep indigo is slowly. It clings to the very edge of the world, a faint discoloration that signals the coming dawn. Our oak tree takes no notice. It has no eyes to see. Its existence is not measured by sight, but by feeling. It can, however, feel a subtle shift in the air. The profound, settled cold of the deep night begins to lose its sharpest edge. It is still cold, certainly, but a different quality of cold. A cold that has a memory of warmth and a premonition of its return. Now, the sky begins to accelerate its transformation. Though accelerate is a strong word for a process, so graceful and slow. The bruised purple begins to bleed upwards, and beneath it, along the horizon line, it is a pale, milky orange, a quiet, humble color that seems to almost apologize for disturbing the darkness. This band of pale orange is the herald of the sun. It is the reflection of light from a sun that is still far below the curve of the earth, its rays just beginning to graze the upper atmosphere. And this light, this gentle, indirect light, begins to fill the world with a new kind of illumination. It is not darkness anymore. It is a state of being called twilight. The world is rendered in shades of grey and deep blue. The tree is no longer a flat, black silhouette. It begins to regain its three-dimensional form. You can now distinguish the main trunk from the larger limbs. You can see the great, dark masses of its canopy as separate clusters of leaves. The field around it is no longer a void. And now the light begins its journey towards our tree. The pale orange on the horizon intensifies, deepening into a richer, warmer apricot hue. It casts a faint, ethereal glow, and a single ray of this new light. It passes over hills and valleys you cannot see, over dew-drenched grasses and still, dark ponds. It is on a direct course for the highest point in this quiet field. It is coming for our tree. It arrives. The first direct touch of dawn. It does not strike the whole tree. The very highest leaf on the tallest branch. The one we saw being born from the darkness earlier. This leaf, which has been sitting in cold shadow for hours, is now bathed in a soft, golden pink light. Let us look at this one leaf, with 5 distinct lobes, like a small, green hand reaching for the sky. The light catches the tiny, glistening beads of dew that have gathered along its edges. For a moment, holding all the colors of the nascent dawn, hues of pink and soft violet, before the growing light claims them. The leaf itself begins to reveal its true color, no longer a black silhouette. You can almost see the intricate network of veins that run through it, tiny channels carrying life. The rest of the tree remains in shadow. Only this one leaf has awoken to greet the day, and with the light comes the first sound. From a distant thicket, a tentative, questioning the world is still overwhelmingly quiet, but it is no longer completely silent, is beginning to end. The band of light on the horizon grows wider now. The pale orange is joined by a soft pink, bleeding upwards into the dark blue. And now the light touches not just one leaf, but the entire topmost cluster of branches. The highest parts of the oak tree are slowly being painted with the colors of the sunrise. Each leaf, each twig, emerges from the shadow, one by one. The sun has now lifted itself entirely free from the horizon. It is no longer a soft, colored glow, but a brilliant, distinct orb of pale yellow light in a vast, cerulean sky. The time is perhaps 7 in the morning. The air, once cool and damp, is now filled with a clean, crisp clarity. And with this new, direct light comes a new presence in the field. The great shadow of our oak tree. It stretches out long across the meadow. It is a perfect, flattened silhouette of the tree, rendered in a cooler, blue-tinted shade upon the bright green grass. Every major limb, every gnarled branch, the edges of the shadow are sharp and clear, a definitive line between the sunlit world and this dark, cool echo of the tree itself. Walking into this shadow would feel like stepping into a different room, where the temperature is several degrees cooler and the sounds are slightly more muted. The dew, which had been the star of the dawn, is now in its final act. The direct warmth of the sun is a clear signal for it to depart. All across the field, on every blade of grass, the tiny droplets are shrinking. As they evaporate, they create a shimmering, almost magical haze just above the ground. It looks as if the entire meadow is gently steaming, releasing the last of the night's cool breath back into the atmosphere. On the leaves of our oak tree, the same process is happening. The last few diamond-like drops vanish, leaving the leaves clean, dry, and ready to begin their day's work of photosynthesis. And with the warmth comes movement, not a sudden or hurried movement. Underneath one of the broad, 5-lobed leaves on a lower branch, a tiny creature has spent the night. It is a ladybug. As the warmth of the sun penetrates the leaf, a signal is sent to its small body. It is time to stir. It emerges from its shelter, stepping out from the cool shadow of the leaf onto the sun-drenched surface of the bark. For a moment, it remains perfectly still. Its shell is a brilliant, polished red, a stark and beautiful contrast against the rough, grey-brown texture of the oak. It has 7 black spots, 3 on each side, and 1 shared at the very top. Where its wing covers meet, it begins a morning ritual. It raises one of its front legs, a minuscule, jointed appendage, and begins to carefully clean one of its antennae. The movement is precise, methodical. It draws the antenna down, stroking it several times, ensuring it is clear of any lingering microscopic debris from the night. Then it repeats the exact same process with the other antenna. The entire ritual takes nearly a minute. There is no rush. There is only the task at hand, its preparations complete. Its destination is unknown. It is simply compelled by instinct to move, to explore, to seek. It chooses a path up one of the deep furrows in the bark. For the ladybug, this is not a piece of bark, it is a canyon. The ridges on either side are towering cliffs. Its 6 legs move in a steady, alternating rhythm, finding purchase on the rough terrain. Its pace is incredibly slow, a few millimeters at a time. It encounters a small patch of pale green lichen growing on the side of the canyon wall. Let us pause and observe this lichen. It is a life form of immense patience. It grows so slowly that its progress is measured in years, not days. In the clear morning light, it is dry and crusty, like a miniature, brittle map of a fantasy land. It is a symbiotic partnership between a fungus and an alga, a testament to cooperation. The ladybug walks directly over it, its tiny feet making no impression, its passing unnoticed. The lichen, in its slow-motion existence, does not register the brief shadow. The ladybug continues its climb. It reaches a point where the furrow becomes less defined, and it must navigate the open face of a bark ridge. Here, the terrain is more exposed. The sun is warmer. The ladybug pauses again, perhaps feeling the heat on its bright red shell. It seems to consider its path. Then it continues its journey. A tiny, solitary explorer on a vast, living mountain. As we watch this small drama unfold, a new element makes its presence felt. The morning breeze. It is not like the wind of a storm. It is a gentle, sighing breath that travels through the meadow. It arrives at the tree. The first sound is a soft whisper. It is the sound of the leaves on the outermost, highest branches stirring. Then the breeze pushes deeper into the canopy. The whisper grows into a rustle. It is the sound of thousands upon thousands of leaves, all moving at once. It is a rich, complex, layered sound. You can hear the soft friction of leaf against leaf. The sound travels through the tree like a wave, starting on the windward side and rolling through to the other, before fading away as the breeze passes. For a few moments, there is silence again. Then another puff of wind arrives, and the great rustling chorus begins anew. The tree is breathing. It is speaking in its own language, a language of wind and leaves. The sunlight, the warmth continues to seep into the wood. The tree is now fully awake. The process of photosynthesis is beginning in earnest. In every single leaf, tiny cellular factories are taking in the sunlight, drawing water from the roots and breathing in carbon dioxide from the air. They are silently, miraculously, converting light into life, creating the sugars that will fuel the tree's growth. It is a process of immense power. Our ladybug has now traveled a distance of perhaps 6 inches from where it began. Its journey is epic on its own scale. It is a small, living piece of color and movement against the vast, patient, and seemingly motionless backdrop of the oak tree. The sun continues its slow climb higher into the sky. The great shadow on the ground begins, ever so slightly, to shrink. The morning is fully here. The narration slows down even further, becoming more deliberate and hushed, to reflect the heat and stillness of midday. A long pause of 20 to 30 seconds. The sun continues its inexorable climb. The morning is over. We have arrived at high noon. The sun is no longer a friendly, warm disk in the corner of the sky. It is now a brilliant, white fire hanging directly overhead. Its light is not soft or angled. It is direct. It bleaches the color from the sky. The great shadow of our oak tree, which stretched so magnificently across the field just a few hours ago, has all but vanished. It has retreated, shrinking back towards its source, until it is now just a small, dark, concentrated pool of coolness directly at the base of the trunk. It no longer paints a picture on the grass. It simply hugs the roots, and with the intense light comes an intense heat. The air is heavy and thick. The gentle morning breeze has vanished. The world has fallen into a state of deep torpor. The birds are no longer singing. They are sheltering deep within the leafy canopy of our oak, or in the cool shadows of other distant trees. The air is silent, save for a low, high-pitched, almost imperceptible hum. The sound of heat itself. The sound of billions of air molecules vibrating with energy. Let us check in on our tiny traveler. Its epic journey up the bark has been put on hold. It has found a small crevice. Its legs are tucked beneath it. It is conserving its energy. All across the field, life has pressed the pause button. But even in this stillness, the leaves, bathed in this powerful sunlight, are working at their peak efficiency. The process of photosynthesis is relentless. The tree is drinking light from the sky. It is a silent, tireless engine. The only outward sign is the faint, clean scent of chlorophyll, a smell of pure, living greenness that hangs gently in the hot, still air. Let us leave the sun-drenched outer world and retreat into the shade, into the small. The temperature is noticeably cooler. The light is not harsh, but soft and dappled. The dense canopy of leaves acts as a living parasol, filtering the sunlight into a shifting, gentle mosaic on the ground below. Patches of bright sunlight, shaped like the spaces between the leaves, are scattered across the grass and the exposed roots. They move as the earth turns, so slowly that you cannot see the movement. But if you were to close your eyes for 10 minutes and then open them again, the pattern would be entirely different. A large, gnarled root. It is a deep, rich brown, and its surface is cool to the touch. Another small creature. Its movements are not energetic. Like the ladybug's morning exploration, they are sluggish, deliberate, as if moving through thick honey. It seems to be moving from one patch of shadow to the next, avoiding the bright. Its journey is a testament to the oppressive power of the midday sun. An hour passes, then another. The time is now 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Very little has changed. The sun is still high and hot. The silence is still deep and profound. This is the great pause of the day. A time for endurance, a time for waiting. The tree stands, as it has for centuries, simply bearing the heat, its leaves held up to the sky, its roots anchored deep in the cool earth. It is a symbol of perfect resilience. It does not fight the heat, it uses it. But like all things, this, too, must pass. Around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, it has passed its zenith, and has begun its slow descent towards the western horizon. The first clue is the shadow. The small, concentrated pool of darkness at the base of the trunk begins to stretch. It creeps outwards, tentatively, at first, then with more confidence, across the grass. But now it is stretching in the opposite direction. It is pointing towards the east. The great shadow is being reborn, preparing to paint the field once more. The quality of the light, the harsh, white intensity of midday begins to soften. A hint of yellow, of gold, seeps back into the sunlight. The air, while still very warm, loses its oppressive, heavy quality. It feels lighter, and then a gift, a breeze. It is just a whisper at first, a faint stirring of the highest leaves, the same way the morning breeze began. But then it gathers strength, a cool current of air flowing in to replace the rising hot air of the field. The tree awakens from its stillness. The great rustling chorus begins again, a sound of immense relief. The leaves dance and shimmer in the returning wind, and the dappled light on the ground below becomes a lively, playful spectacle. The world begins to stir. The beetle on the root moves with a renewed sense of purpose. The birds in the canopy begin to rustle and call to one another, their voices still soft, but present once more. Our ladybug, feeling the change in temperature and light, may soon emerge from its crevice to continue its journey. The time is now 4 o'clock. The afternoon is in its golden hour. The sun, now hanging much lower in the western sky, bathes the entire landscape in a warm, syrupy, golden light. This light is magical. It makes the green of the leaves seem richer. It catches the tiny, gossamer strands of a spider's web spun between 2 twigs. It makes the entire tree glow, as if lit from within. The tree's shadow is now a great, elongated giant. Once again, its edges soft and hazy in the golden light. The intense trial of midday heat is over. What remains is a slow, graceful, and beautiful descent into evening. The golden hour, as beautiful as it is, the sun, which seemed to hang motionless at midday, now appears to accelerate its descent. It sinks, lower and lower towards the western horizon. The golden light transforms into a rich, burnt orange. The shadows, already long, stretch even further, becoming distorted, elongated versions of their sources. The sun is now a great, red ember, just touching the edge of the world. For a few brief, glorious moments, it paints the sky with breathtaking color. The undersides of a few wispy clouds, high in the atmosphere, are lit up in brilliant shades of pink and fiery magenta. The air itself seems to be saturated with a soft, rosy glow. The tree is no longer golden. It is a dark silhouette against a spectacular, painted sky. It is the final, vibrant flourish of the day. Then the top edge of the sun dips. Below the horizon, the brilliant colors begin to fade almost immediately, as if a painter were washing them away with a brush dipped in water. The fiery oranges and pinks soften into muted shades of lavender and dusky rose. The world enters a period of serene, quiet beauty known as twilight, the blue hour. During this time, details become soft and indistinct. The colors drain away, leaving behind a world rendered in shades of blue, gray, and deep purple. The temperature begins to drop more noticeably now. You can almost feel a cool blanket settling gently over the land, chasing away the last remnants of the day's warmth. The first star appears, a single, brave point of light in the deepening blue of the eastern sky. It is likely Venus. A few moments later, the great tapestry of the night sky is slowly being unrolled. The sounds of the day have now completely vanished. The daybirds are silent. The breeze has died down to an occasional, almost imperceptible whisper in their place. From the long grass in the field, another joins in, and then another, until a steady, monotonous chorus fills the air. It is the pulse of the night, and then a familiar sound. The same sound we heard so many hours ago from the distant woods, the faint, solitary call of an owl. Who? It is a sound that defines the stillness. The cycle is completing itself. The sky is now almost completely dark. The last vestiges of twilight have faded from the western horizon. The tree is once again what it was when we first arrived. A great, dark shape against a sky filled with the steady, silent light of countless stars. It stands in quiet communion with the night, its leaves still, its great trunk a pillar of patience. It has absorbed the energy of the sun, it has endured the heat, it has danced with the wind, and now it is time to rest. The tree settles into the deep, profound stillness that it knows so well. Its day is done. Narrator, our journey with the tree is now complete. Before we drift off entirely into rest, a gentle tap on the like button is a quiet way of saying thank you, and it helps others find this stillness too. If you wish to join us for our next journey into the wonderfully boring, subscribing to the channel ensures you will not miss it. Your quiet thoughts are always welcome in the comments below. We read them all, and let all of that go. Let the buttons and the words fade away. Nothing else to think about. There is only this moment, here and now, in the comfort and safety of your own space. Allow your attention to move away from the tree. Feel the weight of your body resting against the surface beneath you. Feel the gentle pull of gravity. There is nothing for you to hold up. You can let go completely. Bring your awareness to your breath. Simply notice it. Notice the gentle rise of your chest or abdomen as you breathe in, and the soft release as you breathe out. Each breath is a quiet tide. With each exhalation, they are like clouds passing in the sky. You can simply watch them drift by without holding on to any of them. Your only task now is to rest. It is not an active process, a quiet allowing. Allow your eyelids to feel heavy. Allow your shoulders to soften and release. Allow your arms and your legs to feel heavy and warm and deeply relaxed. There is nothing left to do. The day is complete. You have done enough. All that is left is this peaceful descent into deep, restorative sleep. The quiet is here to hold you. The darkness is here to comfort you. Breathing in and letting go. Breathing out and sinking deeper and deeper into a state of profound peace and rest. Sleep well.